Admiral Crixtal had commanded fleets across 17 sectors, reduced 3 civilizations to cosmic dust, and never once questioned the Galactic Council's wisdom. The humans, they assured him, were a primitive species barely past nuclear fission. Their planet would fall within a solar cycle, its resources claimed for the greater galactic good. Standing on the bridge of his flagship Dominion's edge, Crixtal watched Earth grow larger in the viewscreen. The third planet orbited its yellow star with deceptive tranquility, its blue-white surface betraying no hint of the dangerous primitives his intelligence reports described. "Sir," his communications officer, Lieutenant Velos, reported with the confidence of youth. "We're receiving multiple transmissions from the planet's surface, audio and visual frequencies across their entire electromagnetic spectrum. Surrender demands, no doubt," Crixtal mused. "Put them through." What filled the bridge wasn't the expected pleading of a doomed species. Instead, a cacophony of sounds assaulted their translation matrices. Rhythmic percussion, harmonic frequencies, and voices raised in what could only be described as celebration. "Sir, these appear to be entertainment broadcasts," Velos said, his scales shifting to a confused purple. "Music, dramatic performances, and are those humans launching themselves from aircraft for recreation?" Crixtal studied the feeds with growing bewilderment. Humans hurling themselves from perfectly functional flying machines, only to deploy fabric wings at the last moment. Others intentionally submerging themselves in frozen water, emerging with expressions of pure joy. Children running directly toward massive creatures with fur and fangs, embracing them as companions. "Admiral," his tactical officer interrupted, "we're detecting unusual energy signatures from their planetary defense systems." "Show me." The display revealed Earth's orbital space, dotted with what appeared to be primitive satellites and space debris. Yet as Crixtal's sensors probed deeper, he discovered something that made his blood run cold. Hidden among the civilian infrastructure were thousands of kinetic interceptors, quantum-encrypted communication arrays, and what appeared to be, "Sir, those aren't defense platforms," the tactical officer whispered. Are those mining vessels?" Indeed they were. Massive industrial ships, their hulls scarred from asteroid impacts, their cargo bays filled with enough raw materials to build a dozen fleets, and every single one had rotated to face the incoming armada, their mining lasers now trained on Crixtal's forces. "Incoming transmission," Velos announced. "Audio only." The voice that emerged was distinctly human, male, middle-aged, with an accent Crixtal's translator couldn't quite place. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the UES New Horizon. We've been monitoring your approach for the past 3 days. Beautiful ships you've got there. Mind if we ask what brings you to our neighborhood?" Crixtal activated his own communications array, drawing himself to his full height. "I am Admiral Crixtal of the Galactic Council Fleet. Your world has been designated for resource acquisition. Surrender now and your species will be relocated to suitable—" "Oh," the human interrupted, and Crixtal could hear something that chilled him. Laughter. Not fear, not desperation, but genuine amusement. "Well, that's unfortunate. See, we just finished a rather nasty war with ourselves. Took us nearly 6 years to sort that mess out. We've got a lot of equipment and some very bored soldiers who've been looking for something to do." "You would dare threaten a council fleet?" Crixtal sputtered. "Threaten? Admiral, I think there's been a misunderstanding." The human's tone remained conversational, almost friendly. "We're not threatening you. We're inviting you to surrender. It would save everyone a lot of trouble." Before Crixtal could respond, his sensors detected movement throughout Earth's system. The mining ships weren't alone. Emerging from behind asteroids, from the shadows of moons, and from the planet's own atmospheric envelope, came humanity's true fleet. Not the primitive vessels his intelligence had described, but sleek predators bristling with weapons technology that made his own ships look like museum pieces. "How?" he breathed. 40 years ago, Captain Chen explained, apparently reading his sensor data in real time, "we discovered that our solar system was just a tiny part of something much bigger. So we did what humans do. We got curious. We sent out scouts, made contact with traders, learned about your council, and we realized that if you could find us, you'd probably want to own us." More ships appeared, thousands of them, each one crewed by beings who, according to their broadcasts, spent their leisure time jumping from aircraft and wrestling with apex predators for entertainment. We've been preparing for this conversation for decades, Admiral. The thing is, we don't want to fight you. We've seen enough of war, but if you insist. Krikstal's tactical display lit up like a festival celebration. Every human vessel had weapons lock on his fleet. Not just the military craft. The mining ships, the civilian transports, even what appeared to be a pleasure cruise vessel had revealed hidden armaments. "What are you?" Krikstal whispered. "We're explorers who learned to be warriors when we had to be. We're builders who became defenders when someone threatened our home. We're the species that looked at the vast empty darkness between stars and decided it needed more light." Chen's voice carried a weight that spoke of hard choices and harder victories. "We're humans, Admiral, and we'd very much like to be friends." Krikstal stared at his tactical display, then at the communications console, then at the faces of his crew. His officers, veterans of a dozen campaigns, looked back at him with expressions he'd never seen before. Uncertainty mixed with something that might have been respect. "Stand down weapons," he ordered quietly. "Sir?" "I said stand down." Krikstal straightened his uniform and activated the fleet-wide communications array. "All vessels, this is Admiral Krikstal. We are accepting the humans' invitation to negotiate." The journey back to Council space took 3 months. Krikstal's report filled 17 data crystals and included over 4,000 hours of video documentation. The Council initially accused him of fabrication, then sedition, then finally demanded to see the proof themselves. The proof came in the form of Lieutenant Velos, who had volunteered to remain on Earth as a cultural exchange officer. His first transmission back to Council space began with him bungee jumping from something called the Golden Gate Bridge, screaming with what could only be described as joy. Within a year, Earth had 3 permanent Council ambassadors and a waiting list of species requesting adventure tourism visas. The war fleet had become the galaxy's first interspecies cruise line, with Captain Chen as its admiral. Krikstal retired to a small farm on Earth's Australian continent, where he learned to surf and discovered that humans had somehow made alcohol from almost everything in their biosphere. In his memoirs, he wrote, "I went to conquer Earth. Instead, Earth conquered me, and I couldn't be happier about it." The Council still maintained its military superiority throughout the galaxy, but whenever they encountered a species that reminded them too much of humans, curious, stubborn, and absolutely unwilling to back down from a challenge, they found reasons to negotiate instead. After all, they had learned that some victories were far too dangerous to achieve,